Why hello there. Today we're going to be watching and discussing a challenge I gave myself to make a painting this big with a brush this big. That's the same size. A 2-inch painting with a 2-inch brush. Obviously it was a challenge. You know, you want to cover a lot of land with this thing, and there wasn't a lot of free real estate on this thing. So I decided to go with a easier concept first. No, like what's easier than waves and a sunset? I mean, there are easier things, but what's easier for me than waves and a sunset? Right off the bat, covering most of the canvas in blue, which took like, I don't know, like 2-3 paint strokes. It just it was real simple with at least that part. And then I had to build up clouds and details, and so I was basically, for most of these paintings, I'm painting with the corner edge of the brush, just trying to get in some fine details and build those up. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, because I paint with the corner of my brushes a lot with the smaller brushes when I'm doing fine details, because I don't always think, hey, I need to buy a new liner brush. And so I get used to this. I'm used to doing this sort of technique in a smaller brush, which I guess I didn't think about until just now. But with the bigger brush, it was still kind of hard at first trying to get the right control. But once I managed to get the amount of bristles that I needed, the hardest thing was adding in the smaller details, like the light, the orange reflecting off the top of the waves and that sort of thing. If the colors and the stuff separated with the bristles, it wasn't that big of a deal. There's a lot of different colors and a lot of different lighting when it comes to waves, and so if something didn't look exactly 100% the way I thought it should look in my mind, there's some nice color variation, just letting the brush just kind of move about on its own. And yeah, that's the first one. I didn't think it was that hard, so I moved on to the next one. So for this next one, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something a little bit more challenging. We're gonna do a mountain, and I've done hundreds, if maybe not thousands, of mountains at this point. Mountain wasn't necessarily what made it this difficult. What made it more difficult is some of the details that are gonna come into play later. But again, I'm using the corner edge of my brush to get in to get in like the shape of the mountain, and then once the shape is there that I kind of like, I'm going in with the corner of the brush and then adding in the snow on top of the mountain, and then I use the opposite edge to building in my hills and some of the trees and stuff. But the thing that made this difficult was trying to paint this stupid road. I don't know why, like it's just a trapezoid, you know? It's just a trapezoid with some lines on it, but for some reason I wanted it to be, the road to be like dead center of the painting, but I couldn't get it at first. And then it started just slightly veering more and more to the left, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna work with it. Yeah, so the road, it was off center and stuff, but you know what? I wasn't about to paint over it, especially since this was already mildly difficult anyway. So, you know, this one, it was definitely more challenging, trying to get some of the more finer details in, especially making the tree. I was like clutching onto the brush like this. I basically sandwiched it off into a smaller paintbrush so I could hold it right, so I could make some trees. But you know, after I did that, I was like, you know, it was more challenging, but it still wasn't very difficult. So let me do something that I've done somewhere between half a dozen and a dozen. So I went in to try and make like a makeshift rock cavern background type of thing, which it wasn't working too well for me at first, because it was just, I don't know, the way it was blending and stuff. I kept having to paint over it and then use my blow dryer and then paint over it, and just the rocks were just, they were giving me a time. They just were. I don't know why. But after that, getting the initial shape of the octopus head, like that was super easy. But after that, then I had to add legs, and I couldn't get the frickin' brush and the frickin' bristles on the brush. I couldn't get them to separate right, and so all the legs just look so big. They're just, I wanted like nice. Well, I purposely picked like a picture of an octopus that was more like spread out and not like all curled and twisted up like they like to do sometimes. This one's more like I'm web crawling right now. They're not spiders, Tina. Just because they have 8 limbs, whatever. Wall crawling. It was a web wall crawling on the stuff in the water, whatever. And so I did kind of give myself that bit of an out, but trying to get the legs in the right placement and the trying to get them to get them to be thinner and smoother, and the lines, it wasn't working for me. And I was just like, okay, this one's pretty hard. This one's pretty hard to do. I still think it's a cute little thing. I do enjoy it. I think it's cute. I think it's a very nice looking octopus, but it doesn't 100% feel like my style. All 3 of these, because I couldn't do fine detailing, which is kind of my thing, you know. I mean, you see the Keanu Reeves text portrait in the background. It's from writing, and just writing over and over and over again. So fine detailing has become my thing as an artist, and so the messier lines just kind of feel like something I would have done earlier in my work. It doesn't feel like current me. It feels different. But thank you to everybody who watched. I mean, if you got this far, then congratulations to you for having an attention span. Because ooh-wee, child, I can yep. If you do like these longer form videos, I try to do them every Friday. I didn't last week because it was my sister's birthday weekend and things just didn't line up. But every Friday, every Saturday, I try to have one of these longer form videos out. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around and for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and all that jazz. If you want to view my other work, you can go to tinastextportraits.com. My other socials are right over here. That's where you can go to buy my stuff. Look me up on my other places, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. I think my Twitter's on there. I don't remember. But that's where you can look me up on all the other important places where I do things. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everyone who takes time out of their limited time on Earth to watch me talk about art and painting and that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you. I love you. Jesus loves you. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, until next time, take care.